It was a cold afternoon when Sara, a teacher in a small town, rushed to catch her train. The wind whipped through her coat, and she hugged herself tighter, her hands trembling with the weight of the books she carried. Just as she approached the station, she noticed an elderly woman struggling to walk across the icy street. Without a second thought, Sara hurried over and offered her arm. "Thank you, dear," the woman said, her voice shaky but grateful. Sara helped her across the street, gave a smile, and ran to catch her train. She never knew that this small act of kindness would spark a series of events that would change lives across the globe. In New York City, the elderly woman named Ruth told her son about Sara. Inspired by his mother's story, Ruth's son, David, a successful tech entrepreneur, decided to donate laptops to underprivileged schools in his local community. One of those laptops found its way into the hands of Marcos, a young boy from Mexico City. Marcos, filled with curiosity, used his new laptop to explore the world of coding. His passion grew, and a few years later, he developed an app to provide free educational content to kids in rural areas. Meanwhile, Anaya, a teenage girl in a remote village in India, stumbled upon Marcos' app while borrowing her cousin's phone. The lessons she learned helped her ace her exams and secure a scholarship to study engineering. Grateful for the opportunity, Anaya began organizing free workshops in her village, teaching younger girls the skills she had learned. One of those girls, Lena, grew up in poverty in Kenya, where opportunities for education were scarce. Inspired by Anaya's workshop, Lena dreamed of becoming a teacher herself. Years later, she opened a small school for girls in her village, determined to change the narrative for women in her community. Back in Sara's small town, she had no idea that her simple act of kindness had set this ripple into motion. Her life carried on as usual, teaching, helping others whenever she could. One day, she received an invitation from an international organization to attend a global education summit in Kenya. The organizer, Lena. Sara arrived in Kenya and was shocked to learn that the woman who invited her had been inspired by a series of events that all began with Sara's single act of kindness years earlier. Overwhelmed, Sara realized the profound interconnectedness of humanity, that no act of kindness is ever wasted. Together, Sara and Lena set up an international education initiative that would continue to ripple across the world for generations to come.